Hello, I told you about the update to Google Fonts. Well, today you have 3 additional typefaces that have just been added from the Google Fonts gallery. So that's the first idea. We're gonna have a bit of fun with you by offering different typefaces. Now, all we have to do is choose the typefaces that are relevant, and I'll show you the various changes we've made to your template editor. All right, let's take a look. I'm going into the template editor and I'll explain to you why we made these changes. You'll see that it's quite seamless. Here in your format, when you click on the A, the different typefaces appear. And you can see right at the bottom here, there you go, you have Roboto, a second typeface here, and a third one over there. These are typefaces that allow us to move beyond the usual fonts we've had since the beginning, which were a bit limiting in terms of creative possibilities. So that's over now. You have quite a few options now, and of course, it'll be easy to add more from now on. So what exactly has changed here? Well, we've already given more flexibility when it comes to standard text writing. Before, we were limited to a size that could feel a bit restrictive. I'll show you some examples as we go along to give you an idea of what it looks like. Basically, if I went into the format menu and tried to choose my font size, I couldn't go beyond 12, which was quite limiting and made the text a bit small. Now, we've really pushed things further by giving you the option to set all your heading H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, up to 36. Of course, you're not going to set your main text to 36, that would be way too big, but increasing it a little is still quite useful. I've created 3 templates, the equator in classic style, number 2 and number 3. Starting from the second one, I add Google Fonts and we'll see how that looks. I go into my workflow, into my build, and now I'm going to generate my quote. There we go. And I'm going to choose style 1. Well, in style 1, we find our font, which was limited to that size. And then, well, the different typefaces we could use were a bit limited. So I'll show you right away what it looks like by checking out style 2. There we go. And here with style 2, you can see that the font is much more readable and it's more pleasant to work with. I'll show you what it looks like, for example, on a phone. So, well, I'll use the same example, okay. I will begin by discussing the very first typeface, which is indeed the classic one, where we did not have the benefit of any special formatting options whatsoever. I'm going to switch to my version, which you can see here on the left screen, the one you have here with a different typeface. For example, for the title you see here, all the different section titles can use these new typefaces, and the text is larger, so it's more readable and more visually appealing. A little new feature that we worked on with even people requested it was to give you a bit more flexibility here. You see day 1 with one typeface, and then I have another one here. And above all, what's interesting here is being able to choose what you want to highlight. Previously, we didn't have the option to adjust the size. People mentioned saying, sometimes it's too small, something's missing, and so on. Well, here, for example, I've chosen to focus more on the distance. You can focus wherever you want by using a larger or smaller typeface. So everything is checked against the different sections. You have all the options you want. See here, we find our typeface again. So there are 3 different typefaces here. Here, I'm on the second template. It's not really meant to, how should I put it, to make a perfect quote, you know. I'm just showing you this to demonstrate technically what it looks like. It's up to you to be creative, but it's true that having more size options and a more pleasant reading experience is actually pretty nice to see. Let me show you the third style I have here. So again, I'm not trying to make an aesthetically pleasing quote, it's just to show you the possibilities. You can see here we have a different typeface that allow us to do different things. This is just a trial mode, but you'll be able to have fun with it, and we'll consult with you so you can add typefaces that are actually useful. We're not going to make a list of 450 typefaces, that wouldn't make sense, but having these options here, having some nice layouts to work with, is great. So to offer more size options, Google Fonts, and the ability to manage your different sizes here in distance, altitude, and travel time. And if we look in the template editor, it's done the same way. I'm gonna go to this one. So you can find your typefaces anywhere here. They show up here, and these are the new ones. We're going to expand the list, and you'll see that, for example, if I go here to the day by day section, I have the option to manage the font right from day one if you want to write it in a certain way, and then switch to something more classic afterwards. And you see here, as I was saying right here, you have the ability to adjust your size, to manage things differently just below. So we're giving you more flexibility here to present and highlight whatever you want. So you see little A's appearing all over the place with more customization options. Now, a personal tip: don't go putting different typefaces everywhere in different styles. I recommend keeping things harmonious and sticking to one typeface that you choose consistently for all your fields. Maybe just for the H3 section, which is the title, you can use something different, something a bit nicer for reading. But otherwise, don't go mixing typefaces all over the place. In any case, this allows you to achieve a nicer result. In any case, this shows you the possibilities you have here. For example, this isn't a typeface I would use here, but it's just to show you the exercise. And then I'll go back. This one is the classic. I got lost in my different tabs. Sorry about that. I'll come back here. Erase. This is the one. This is where I use two different typefaces. For all the H3 titles, I used the one typeface. Everything else, I kept consistent with the same typeface. A little zoom on what I want to highlight. And here I use two different typefaces to present it a bit differently, but it's up to you to choose. If I take this example and go to my template editor, it's style 2. In practice, you'll see here I use the Roboto typeface everywhere except for my section titles here. For H2, you'll also find these titles, and I'll come back to that here. And then what other changes did I make? I mainly made them for the day section here, where I chose the shadow typeface. And here I simply decided to make it larger. So those are the new features. Feel free to have fun with it. And let us know if you want any specific typefaces. We can go and pick directly from the Google fonts available here. And of course, we'll start with the most popular and most used ones and make a little list for you if you want something specific. The advantage is that we have different styles, from handwritten, script-like fonts to more classic ones. There's plenty to have fun with here. So thanks to Ivan for developing this within the team, and it's already up to date. Starting today, you can try out your 3 typefaces. If you don't see them appear, it's not a bugger. Make sure to reset your cookies. That was the case for me today when I tested it. I couldn't see all 3 appear, but they are definitely online. So feel free to test them out. Give us your feedback, and we'll provide you with a little list so you can have fun and create quotes that are more appealing, with more fonts and more creativity. Thank you. Have a great day.